Thank you. You know, it's easy to start something new, especially at this period of time where we're looking for new ideas and innovations, a new way to brand and position ourselves. But I want to tell you, you start something new, you got to follow through. You got to stick with it. You have to create the energy to get all the way there. All right, now as I tell you that, let me share a little story with you that'll help you kind of focus on that. It'll come together more easily if I share this story with you. About 30 years ago, I was traveling from Nebraska over to central Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, on I-80. I had my wife with me, had my son with me. He was about 10 years of age at that time. You can imagine he's about 40-ish right now, by the way. But it was a February, and it was kind of a cold, gray day. And we're driving on the interstate, and here in the Midwest, you might know that particular stretch is not very eventful, kind of boring. We're just, moving down the highway, trying to get to Des Moines, Iowa, as quickly as possible. All of a sudden, flop, 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 flop. You know that sound, right? We had a flat tire, right? We had a flat tire going east towards Des Moines, Iowa. It was right out in the middle of the whole trip, and we had to pull over, and my wife was looking at me, rolling her eyes. What are we going to do? And the trucks are zooming by. And so I get out of the car, and I ask my son to join me, and we'll just go outside, and we'll check the trunk, and we'll see if we've got a spare, and we'll just change the spare tire and move along. Well, we got there, and we did have a spare tire, but we didn't have a jack. Don't ask me why. I don't have a good answer for that, but we did not have a jack in the car at that time. We couldn't change the tire. Now, we had a difficult moment there. We had all these trucks driving by, and I'm looking around, and I see a farmhouse about maybe a half a mile away, kind of on the other side of a field there in Iowa. And I said, Ryan, why don't we go across the fence here, get over there in the field, we'll just walk across the field to that farmhouse, and maybe they've got a jack that they could lend us, and we'll get done with it, and we'll take the jack back, of course. So my son goes, oh, yeah, okay, whatever you say, So we walk into the ditch next to the interstate road, of course, and it's a very kind of a shallow but wide ditch, and a lot of grass and weeds, of course. So we had to kind of wade our way through the ditch. My wife was looking at me very nervous. She was looking through the window. She was wondering, how is this going to work out, right? And we got kind of climbed up a little hill there at the end of the ditch, and there's a fence, right? Like we've all seen it alongside the road there if you've traveled anywhere on the interstate. And it was a barbed wire fence. And I said, no problem, Ryan. I said, let me get up here and we'll just get over this thing, and hopefully people will be there and they'll let us use the jack. Okay, Dad. So I climb up. Now, I come out from a farm environment in my childhood, so I did not really have a hard time with climbing this barbed wire fence. And you stick your foot in the holes, various squares of the wire, and then you get to the top, and obviously you pull down the horizontal wire there, the barbed wire, and it's rusty. You don't really want to touch it. Could be a nasty little puncture in your hand. So you got to be a little careful, and you carefully raise your leg over and get yourself steady, and then raise the other leg and kind of push away from the fence, right, as you can imagine, and plop right down there on the other side. Not a big deal. I've done it 100 times. But my son, being raised in the city, had never experienced that before, and his eyes were really wild. I said, okay, now come on over here, let's go. Come across the fence here. And he climbs up on the fence, very, very touchy, and I'm reassuring him, we can do this now, it'll be fine, just reach over here, reach over there. Now raise your leg over here. And he's doing it very slowly. He knows, he can see those barbs on that barbed wire. That would be, you wouldn't want to fall on him, of course, and I think we all know that. So he was being very careful, and I was trying to steady him as best I could from the ground. He got to the top of the wires, right? He got 50% over the barbed wire fence. He raised his leg very slowly. I kind of helped him get it over there. And so he's there, and I'm down on the ground. He's got both of his hands here, and he's so frightened that the top of the barbed wire was shaking, right? And he looked down at me. He said, "Dad, I can't do this. I can't do this. I I can't make it. I'm not going to make it, Dad. This is what he told me, right? And I don't know why, but it just hit me. That was a moment. That was a moment that never went away. Now, I just want you to know, ultimately, I did get him over, and I was able to pull him down. It was a little awkward. I think we fell down a little bit and so on. But he was safe. He didn't hurt himself or scratch himself. But there was that moment where he froze, and I kind of froze because I didn't know for a second how to help him get through this dilemma. He was 50% there, but he was not ready to go the next level. Now, this is such a great metaphor for companies that I deal with today. And I want to ask you, be as candid as you can be with yourself, are we fully committed to getting to the other side of this pandemic? Are we fully committed, no matter what it takes? We're going to raise our leg, we're going to brave the elements, so to speak, strategically, and it's all metaphoric, of course, and we're going to move forward with digital transformation, new people, new officing technology, new policies, probably new talent. We're going to have to hire some people that don't want to come back to the office. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And even then, if you're operating smoothly, you've got to have a vision, right, that propels you over the fence so that you really are truly motivated. You can see yourself in your mind winning massive market share, or even maybe redefining your industry, which is the real big idea we'll talk about some other time. So keep this in mind. If you're going to attack a situation, you have to go all the way, right? You have to follow through. You cannot allow yourself to stop and double check yourself or rethink yourself when you're halfway over the barbed wire fence. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker, a consultant. Give me a call at 402-208-5519. I can help you. I can help you get over the fence. Commit. We'll see you again. Thank you. Thank you.